Da da da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, welcome, everybody. I love it when I first come into my lives because 80% of the time I'm coming in with a giggle to myself or a giggle about the situation I'm just coming out of. Or maybe it's just something that I'm going into and I have no idea. And I'm going, okay, Cindy, let's fly with this, right? And for me, I think deep down inside of me, that's the engine, like one of Elon Musk's rocket on the bottom. And that's just shooting out that, right? That burst of flame, that first boost that gets us going. And then once we're going, right? We're going. I'm in my snow pants, you guys. It's a cold one. I went outside for half an hour yesterday. I did not know that it had gotten that cold that fast. We've had a lot of up and down in our weathers where it's gotten like to minus 30 almost. And then the next day it's like rain snow. And that's dangerous, especially when the government is trying to save a little bit of money with the snow clearing and stuff. I haven't really seen them out on the road, a little bit on the sidewalks, right? Perfect, right? We want to make sure those seniors are getting to Safeway and getting their winter supplies. I know if I was retired, right? Possibly I might want to just grab those supplies and buckle up till spring. But I adapt, I conquer, right? I don't let those pushes keep me down. I don't allow myself those little luxuries of excuses. It's part of my upbringing, part of my programming if you want to call it that, right? It's part of my culture and my traditions, and each one of those has as and as much as we can connect. And oh my goodness, right? It's just a matter of being able to get yourself into the conversation and letting people feel you out and feeling other people out, that we can have the opportunity to meet our soulmates, right? To meet our best friend, to meet our saviors who are going to stick with us through thick and thin and hold us up when we can barely hold ourselves up. Just beating myself up a little, as I usually do, beating myself a little bit, right? Because I wasn't able to accomplish too much. And for the most part, I can say that and then come in for my first day of work that puts the roof over my head, which is today, and I'm off to work, right? And then I give all that energy to that job that I'm so grateful for, that allows me to schedule my life in a way that I'm able to dive deep if I want to stay in if I want to afford to make little adventures for myself if I want to make that little bit of movement for myself, right? And that's what I'm doing. And I beat myself up, right? Going, oh my goodness, I didn't accomplish anything. Just to recognize all those small details that you were able to keep off your plate, right? In order to be able to absorb a hard truth, possibly, or to hold up somebody who has fallen in the moment, right? And sometimes that person is ourselves, right? That's why we kind of beat up on ourselves, because we can't, because we have fallen, right? I'm so grateful for some of those lessons that I walked into very early when I first woke up to some of these ideas, and to say, allow yourself to make those mistakes, because it's in those mistakes that we're going to be able to find a better way, right? Oh my goodness, I don't want to do that again. That was pretty foolish. That was pretty silly. That was pretty painful. And then we learn to maneuver a little bit, right? We have that privilege when we're underprivileged to be that support for ourselves, right? Little bit of our own best friend, our own little bit of a save the day saviors, right? We can do that for ourselves, But how do we get into those conversations, right? Right? When we're just talking to ourselves and we're not having those experiences and we're not having those interactions with others, how do we learn to socially move forward? Because socially moving forward is that's the be all to end all. That's our existence, is to be able to connect with each other, to keep that line of existence moving forward. And it is built into each and every single creature on this earth in our sex drives. And that's not to say to go out there and just, right, share with the world. We have to pick and choose, because in picking and choosing those partners for ourselves, that we can find ways to make a little bit of movement, not just for ourselves but for that line that moves forward, because we picked well. We didn't overburden somebody by taking on something that is so different that it's not even going to be believable, let alone acceptable, right? In the majority. And when that happens, and it does happen more often than not, it's in that assimilation, it is in that amalgamation, it is in that joining forces with ourselves and joining forces with others that makes it possible for us, right? To get those lessons that we so desperately need. And we get to keep those lessons, right? If we so happen to have that privilege of walking into that experience, walking into a conversation where somebody wants to share, that somebody actually cares and somebody's more interested in the bigger picture rather than the immediate comfort of a situation, right? And when you look around the world, you can see there's a lot of uncomfortableness, right? A lot of mixing in the pot. And I've always been one to say, okay, it's already painful. If it's already discomfort, right? If it's already a struggle, right? Go all in, because it can't last. Why make that pain just go forever and ever and ever by just taking drip, 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 drip of it all? Because it just makes you depressed. I would love to get into that storm, get into that eye of the storm where there's a little bit of a breather, and then get back into that mix and get out of it, right? Bring it all on. I used to grumble and complain because those worst experiences in my life, like the very worst of those experiences in my life, came right after a really, really bad kick, or a bad kick came right after that horrid, immediate, disastrous, scary, life changing experience, right? And bring it all on, because you're going to come out of that light. It can't last forever. It just can't. And if we're in the midst of it anyway, geez, go all in. Go all in, right? Make those complete changes for yourself. Make those difficult decisions, right? They're always right in your face, right? That's why kind of move along right now with this idea, right? That yeah, right, there is no excuse, right? You can't use ignorance as an excuse anymore, because those answers are right there. We ask for the answers. There you go. What are you looking for? Right? That's what are you looking for? But there's no excuse. If moving forward we step in that doo doo, right, then there's course corrections, there's lessons in that. And people are going to be standing around as spectators, as lots of people do, right? Some as students, some as teachers, right? Because sometimes we don't have to teach through those own painful experiences of ourselves, right? Sometimes it is in that spectatorship. Sometimes it is being the student, even when you're the teacher, and just kind of being there with somebody, right? And even that is a gift in itself, right? Because at least that person who is going through it knows that they're not going through it without it being acknowledged, right? Appreciated for what it is and alleviating and taking on that pain so somebody else doesn't have to. I've done that my entire life in that scapegoat role, but this conversation is not about that, right? It's about adapting, conquering, and partnering with ourselves, right? When we find ourselves in situations where right? There's only you. There's only you. And in those many experiences that you've had, those many conversations, right? If you want to look at it as tools, if you want to look at it as friends or family, right? Conversations, they'll come by your path and you'll be able to socially jump in and contribute in that conversation, or at the very least take interest so that somebody else might feel valued in that and you can be a spectator in that and pick up those lessons while they're doing that. And at the same time, right, you're alleviating, right? You're providing service, a shoulder to cry on, right? Somebody to listen to, make you feel like you're being seen and being heard. And that's what my job is all about. And I've got to head off. I am starting the work week and the job that puts the roof over my head. All my energy goes to that. I do my very best to show up in between, but I'm settling into a new routine in the content of my brand and in the movement of myself and in that assimilation of all those ingredients in my hemisphere and how they interact or don't interact with each other. But then again, that's a conversation for another day, too, isn't it? Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer, and we'll see you tomorrow.